Welcome back to channel. This is a geography lesson for grade 7 students. It's unit 2, Identity of Sri Lanka. This lesson is prepared according to the school textbook. So, let's see what are the things we are going to study under Identity of Sri Lanka. Let us study the lessons according to these criteria. Number 1, Geographical Identity. The lesson is basically depend on the identity of Sri Lanka. For that, we have to know about what is the geographical identity, as well as there is a special part of social identity. So the basic part of this lesson is going with these two terms, two ways. These are geographical identity and social identity. That means we are going to understand the lesson in two ways. That means we are going to identify the Sri Lanka's identity in geographical identity as well as the social identity. Under that, we will have to discuss national heritage in Sri Lanka, as well as those are known as cultural heritage as well. Then we have to study about the world heritage in Sri Lanka. Indigenous people also belong to the social identity of Sri Lanka, as well as the cultural features and the festival. These are known as identifiable things belongs to Sri Lankan's culture. Finally, social development. This is the way how to discuss the lesson, how to study your lesson. Okay, so you may have studied the lesson in the classroom, you may have studied the lesson in tuition classes, but when you categorizing the lesson according to these ways, you can easily identify the things related to the lesson. Okay, so we are going to make a discussion according to these ways. So I suppose you all to arrange your lessons, study your lessons under these categories. Okay. Geographical identity. Something we will going to find the exactly where it is located. It is called the geographical identity. Sometimes your house may be located in a certain area. So if someone wants to find your house location, then he should know about the geographically location. Okay, so how can we find our geographical location? We can find it by using a map. Yes. Nowadays, we are used to use Google Maps to find exact locations. So, as well as likewise, we can find the geographically where something is located. Here, we are going to find the geographical identity of a country. When we are going to identify the geographical identity, the location, exactly we have to get the geographical location of a country. So, geographical identity of a country refers to information and basically depends on the geographical location of the country. So, that means geographical identity based on the location of the country. So So far, if I discussed with you, we know about our country, Sri Lanka. It is in the Asian continent, as well as it's in the Indian Ocean. Likewise, we are going to identify the country by using a map, or else by using the things around us. We call the geographical identity. This geographical identity can be divided into mainly two things. I'll show you that. One is geographical location. Okay, geographical location is one thing. Okay, so the geographical location, under basically we can identify relative location as well as the specific location. Here it is a specific location. Okay, so let's see what is this geographical location. You know, as I told you earlier, Sri Lanka is an island country lying in the Indian Ocean, separated from Peninsula India by Pork Strait. Okay, so in this map you can see the location of our country. Yes, you can see the location of our country. Okay, in this map also shows that when we are comparing our location with other countries, other places, other continents, we call relative location. That means we are going to find our location by comparing, relative with other countries, continents, oceans, islands. That is called the relative location. So you can see in this map Sri Lanka's location, and it's in the Indian Ocean, and it's in the Asian continent, and in the western side we can see the African continent. Likewise, we can see some places, and we are going to tell the location of our country comparing with other places. That is called the relative location. So you can fill these blanks by using the relative location of our country. Okay, then very important thing is the specific location of Sri Lanka. There you have to identify these two terms. One is relative, another one is specific. Relative means we can compare with others, compare to Indian Ocean, comparing with India. So likewise we are comparing, and relatively we are giving the identity. But in a specific location, we are doing something special than the relative one. Why is that? We are going to identify our location by using specific units. Okay, those are called latitudes and longitudes. I think you can remember what are the latitudes, what are the longitudes, because we have discussed these things in our first lesson. Okay, so when you are comparing our location, when you are identifying Sri Lanka's location by the north latitudes and the longitudes, that is called the specific location. So it's in 50.55 degrees and 951 degrees north, and longitudes of 79 degrees 41 and 81 degrees 53 east longitude. So you can see the picture and you have to remember these values. Okay, so that is how the Sri Lanka is located in the specific location. Okay, that is called the specific. Okay, even your location can be find out what are the latitudes and the longitudes. So now the technology has developed. Okay, then we have to know about these things. Okay, what is this? The maximum length and the maximum width. Pute, in Sri Lanka it is known as the maximum length is 432 kilometers. It's from Point Pedro to Point Dondra Head. Point Pedro to Dondra Head. So the width is known by Colombo to Sangamakanda Point. It's 224 kilometers. So the total land area of Sri Lanka is known as 65,610 square kilometers. Okay, so that is about the Sri Lanka's area and the area and the length and the width. Okay, then we have to know about another thing related to the identity of our country. It is sea limit zones of Sri Lanka. Puthi, we have a land area as well. I told you the land area of our country, as well as we have some part from the sea as well. So that is known as the sea limit zones. Okay, we known as it sea limit zones of Sri Lanka. So you know Sri Lanka is an island, therefore we have an sea limit area as well. Okay, Sri Lanka has an identical boundary and the territorial sea limit. All the coastal states were granted the ownership of a limit of 12 nautical miles. Pute, we have a 12 nautical miles that is called our sea area, coastal area. Okay, from the coast, from coast to the sea, there are 12 nautical miles are owned by Sri Lanka. Okay, that was made under the law of International Convention of the Sea, which came to effect from the 16th of November 1994. So this is known as the territorial sea limit. If someone asks you what is the territorial sea limit of Sri Lanka, it is 12 nautical miles. Okay. And also there is an exclusive economic zone as well that joining the sea areas located beyond the territorial sea. That is 200 nautical miles. That one also you have to remember in your mind. Okay, clearly you can see this picture and the value you have to remember. Okay. Okay, so the other part of Sri Lankan shape, the landscape of Sri Lanka. So we will be discussing more details in our third lesson. It's landscape of our country. Okay, before that you have to get an idea about what is this landscape. So Pute, our country is not a flat area. Okay, our land area of our country is not similar because it is differ from place to place. When you are traveling from coastal area to mid of the country, so it's something like a mountain. Okay, so something like you are climbing a mountain slowly. Okay, so that is mean Pute, our country has a main relief zones. We are having main relief zones. Okay, we are having main relief zones. These zones are known as the mountainous, the intermediate and the coastal. The physical features are very different from each uh, relief zone of Sri Lanka. For an example, if we take the mountainous area, it is in the mid of the country. So there are very interesting features like mountains, waterfalls, gaps, plateaus can be seen in the mid of the country. It's something like a mountain. Okay, it's over. It's in more than 200 above the sea level. Okay, so the intermediate plain mean. Before that, I will explain what is the coastal plain. Coastal plain mean pute the land area around the sea, very close by the sea. So the area between the mountainous area and the coastal area is known as the intermediate plain. Okay, it is known as the intermediate plain. Okay, so in these relief zones consist of complex relief zones. Pute, there are complex relief features can be seen. Why it is that the features are differ from area to area. That means zone to zone. Okay, let's see. You can see this picture. The green colored one is known as the intermediate and the red colored one is known as the coastal, and the middle one you can see it's a mountainous area. If you see a cross section of the our country, our land, you can see the difference. Okay, so these are the topographical features of these areas. As I told you, central hills mean pute mountainous areas, the middle one of the relief zone. There are mountain range, plateaus, valleys, waterfalls, gaps and passes. Okay, the intermediate plain you can see plain, ridge, residual hills. And also the coastal plain you can see board plains, bays, lagoons, points and islands. So these are features in each and every zone. And basically you have to remember there are 3 relief zones. Okay, these are known as topographical features. Okay, so in this lesson, in geographical identities consist of these parts. Okay, then let's meet with another video talking about the social identity of Sri Lanka. Okay, thank you very much.